On. Not responsible for your health issues.
All right, welcome to the first installment of the Fragments of Silicon Daylight interviews for season 17. And indeed, as it ended up being the first proper review of the season, I'm like, booking can be a hairy task sometimes. But anyway, so today we are welcoming one Dankmin of Disco Tune. Hello?
Hello, hey everyone.
Hello. How are you doing today?
I'm doing pretty good. Yes,
Okay.
just got off work.
Good to hear. Good to hear. Right. So, how we like to get started is we like to get to know the people, persons, whatever, behind the games and studios and all that business. And we do this by asking this particular question: what got you interested in video games, both on a personal and a professional level?
I would have to say playing games got me interested in making video games, and
Mhm.
nowadays I'm working with Unity. It's a game engine, so the closest thing to that I used back in the day was the StarCraft and Warcraft level editor.
Uh, so you came through the editor scene, like.
Yes, yes.
We've had people do that in like various games, though I'm not sure if we've ever had someone from the RTS scene. Like it's usually the more first-person shooters, which is I suppose a bit ironic given what we have on display here.
Yeah, I mean, this one surely is a shooter, but I never made mods for shooter games. That is
Mm,
true.
right. So, what did you make in StarCraft and Warcraft and the like?
Nothing notable. I just made maps for fun for myself, just to test out things, units, and different kind of setups. I'm not an RTS. I'm not a good RTS player. I just played for fun.
Which is valid enough, I think.
Yeah.
But it seems to have doled out the creative spark in some fashion. How did that gestate into making your own game?
Well, mainly I think the level design, because that's what you do in those maps, in those editors for RTS games.
Mm-hmm.
And for Disco Tomb, the most appraised thing was the level design. The people that saw the game in the game jams loved it.
Right. And what made you want to like actually step up and make a commercial grade game here? Because if I'm noting, this game is has a Steam page, and I'm assuming is going to be sold for money.
Yes, what I've been trying to make games profitable for a while, but the main thing that I do is make a fun game. Then I try to monetize it. But so far, I've made games for free on Android and PC. I like 5 more games.
Uh-huh.
Uh, 2 of them are meme games because I also own a meme page with over 750,000 followers.
Mm-hmm.
But this game, Disco Tomb, was never in the plan. I just wanted to make a shooter at some point, and somewhere in 2019, in November, there was a game jam hosted by Unity, and you had to make a shooter with a template. So I just joined in, and people liked it, and I said, okay, how about I develop this game further, because this was the first game that people saw when it was in development. Before this one, I always kept my projects kind of secret and only showed them like 1 month before release.
Okay.
But this one was different. People actually gave me a good feedback when it was just a fun game jam project.
Hmm.
So basically,
And
I do it for those people, you know.
okay. And I suppose we should delve into the actual title here because it's if nothing else interesting. A disco tomb. Like, is that literal or is that meaning something else here?
It is literal. The first level, the first two levels. In the footage, you can see the second
Right.
level, which is desert ruins. Uh, but the first level will have an actual disco tomb. You know, for now you don't see any disco balls because they are not integrated. The game is in alpha state, by the way.
Right.
But
And
yes, it is. It is. It is. You are the story behind it is that you are a mummy king, a pharaoh, and your disco tomb is getting invaded by those robot invaders. So that's
Mhm.
the plain simple story.
I mean, I suppose that'll do for a game called Disco Tomb. Like,
Yeah.
I don't think anyone's expecting ImSim levels of story from this. Like, especially since I believe you have classified this as one of the boomer shooters. Um,
Yes. Yes. Most of the gameplay and my design choices are based like in a big part on Serious Sam, if you know the franchise.
I do. I'm like,
Yeah.
like
Yes.
I've certainly played quite a few Serious Sam games. Like, um, though like Serious Sam and Painkiller, I would actually call them. They're a bit different than the '90s FPS games because Serious Sam was all about overwhelming you with like 100,000 enemies.
Yes,
So
this will happen as well in this game. For example, on the Valentine's Day map and the Halloween map, which is Grave Situation, you are getting overwhelmed. But you do
yeah,
also have spells. If you noticed, in some levels you have spells,
um,
and that allows you to just clear waves of enemies easily.
hmm, like, well, what kind of spells do you cast here?
Uh, well, if you change the footage to, I guess, Grave Situation or
I see a lot
uh,
of casting done.
yeah, you also so you have three spells. You have a fireball, a fire nova, and a mana shield. A fireball is just like a rocket. You launch it and it does some small AoE damage where it hits. The fire nova, it's basically an AoE around yourself, which deals quite a lot of damage, but it's a lot of mana. And the mana shield, you have to channel it, and it's a frontal shield that just stops any kind of projectile.
Okay, and I'm assuming those spells are generated from this black diamond thing.
Yes, from that actually blue pyramid.
Uh,
Uh, for now, the hand is not animated. It is way more complicated than expected, but it will be done soon.
okay,
Yeah,
and I suppose shifting to the other weaponry, the gun selection. What do you got in terms of shooty shooty bang bang?
well, in terms of guns, there are a lot. Maybe let me start my own game here. Talk about them meanwhile. But this one in the footage is the chicken gun. It's basically a rocket launcher with four bullets, four rockets. So this one I just made for fun because I wanted the game is called Disco Tomb. It's kind of meme, like a meme. and it had to have a fun weapon that you could remember. And I don't know any kind of shooter or boomer shooter that had a chicken launcher, you know. So I think that one was a pretty neat idea. You
I
just
mean,
launch chickens.
I can't say the idea has never been done before, but it's more a case of we are just absolutely swimming in these kinds of boomer shooters these days more than anything else. And, having something that makes you stand out isn't the worst thing in the universe.
Yeah, I mean, I saw the boomer shooter kind of exploded lately.
Mm-hmm.
But for example, this one has an energy system because I played Quake and Serious Sam on harder difficulties, and in there, ammo is not really a problem if you know the levels, you know.
Yeah.
So in here, and you also have to cycle between weapons always in order to not die, because for every kind of enemy, there's a perfect weapon to kill him with.
Mm-hmm.
So in
So,
here,
so
yeah,
different weapons have different effects on the various enemies.
they are better, for example, in some cases. For example, the turrets die more easily from rockets because a rocket is specifically made to kill a small turret from one shot. Here are not weaknesses, but more like damage. I specifically picked the damage and health to fit. One rocket kills one small turret, two rockets kill one big turret, something like that. And you have to cycle the weapons each time because you only have four rockets with a launcher, for example. And with the other weapon, this one is the blaster. You always get it on the first as a first weapon in the level, but it has limited ammo as well. So you have to know how to cycle between weapons.
So are you suggesting that you pistol start with every level?
So yeah, every level you start with the blaster, which is from the footage the green weapon.
And what sort of other weapons do you have here outside of the novelty weapon and the explosion?
There's also a staff. It's a snake staff, which has a, a mini sun in it, and you can charge it. The ball gets bigger and deals way more damage, and you can one-shot huge monsters with it. There's also the minigun, which I think you saw in very many games.
Like,
But the game had to have a minigun. Like it's basically based on Serious Sam. It had to have a minigun. You can see it in the
right.
footage, right?
Yeah.
There's also the shadow gun, which it's like a rocket launcher, but it does not recharge, and it comes with more energy from the start.
Any sort
I
of
think
shotgun here?
in this level, I don't think there is a shotgun. Oh, there is a shotgun in this level, but it's a secret weapon. There are secret weapons. If you change to the first two levels, you can see the shotgun. It's the one with four charges as well. You get it at the start of.
Yeah. Got to
Yeah,
one
you
up
get it at the
like
start.
all those other shotguns.
Yeah, I mean this shotgun from the with four charges deals the most damage. There's also a smaller shotgun, a pirate shotgun that is basically automatic but deals very low damage.
See here.
And
So, okay. No, continue. You need to. No. Well, anyway. So continuing forward, what sort of enemy variety are we looking at here?
well, in this level you have like I don't even know the number. Let's just list them. You have a white skull which dies from two shots from the blaster,
Mm-hmm.
and So there are enemies that move and enemies that are turrets. Okay, remember those two words. So the white skull is a small moving enemy that has very low health. Then there's this fire skull, which is basically a kamikaze, and when it spawns and aggroes you, you hear whispers, and that's how you know that it is coming for you. And if it touches you, it will blow up and deal AoE damage. This damage can also damage his allies, so your enemies. There is the gray skull, which has more health. It is basically like a normal. You saw in other levels there. So they are kind of variants of other enemies, except for this big skull right here, which you see in the footage. That one
Mhm.
spawns small white skulls, so you need to prioritize it because you will get soon overwhelmed by the small ones, unless you have some mana to deal AoE damage.
Sounds like the game's pain elemental.
I don't know pain elemental.
Oh,
it,
that is a monster from Doom 2.
no, oh, I didn't play. I barely played Doom. I played Quake and other shooters.
Ah, like, gotta admit, that's a rarity, especially among those who develop from the old school. Like, I hear a lot more Doom than Quake. Not saying that's wrong or anything, just, you know. But
Yeah,
anyway,
well, I know, but the thing is, I saw so many boomer shooters being made after Quake and Doom, and the market is flooded with them. And I'm like, nobody made a shooter based on Serious Sam. And I thought,
right.
why shouldn't I make it? Because you said it yourself that in Serious Sam you get overwhelmed with dumb enemies that can get killed easily if you have the skill. Unlike Quake, where you have like not that many enemies in a level, maybe in some levels.
Yeah, the only game I can think of offhand that really ate Serious Sam was Painkiller. Like,
Yes, but Painkiller was very, very repetitive. Like you, for example, if you play it one time, it's a good game. But if you want to play it again and again, like I do with Serious Sam, uh, you will feel the repetitiveness of the game and how
right.
the enemies spawn at a slow rate because you gain skill and they just spawn at a slow rate and it gets boring for you. Unlike Serious Sam, where the enemy change or the way ammo is handled changes based on difficulty.
Yeah. And so let's see here. Exactly how far along is Disco Tomb in terms of development?
Well, for now it is in alpha state,
Mm.
and you have from the footage you have two campaign levels, which are the Vault and Desert Ruins, but those two will be greatly improved because the Vault, for example, it's only 50% of it. You will actually start from the lower part of the Vault, where you are in your own disco part of it, which has a roof and stuff like that. In here, you have no roof. And Desert Ruins will be, for example, I will replace the desert and make it a bit bigger. Next up, there are the seasonal levels, which are Winter Village, which is a Christmas level, Cloud9, it's a Valentine's level, Grave Situation is a Halloween level. These levels will not be in the campaign, we have their own separate directory in the game. And there's Tavern Trouble, which is which doesn't have that much fighting in it. It's more like I made a level to show people that I can make an RPG style uh,
Mm-hmm.
element inside of the game, and it's a secret level anyway. So the story it's very fun compared to the other ones. But in terms of level count, I can tell you right now. I will look on the plans. Uh, so there are 1, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Uh, I think at least 10 or 11 games in maps levels in total.
So still quite a ways to go in terms of contents additions.
Yes, in terms of releasing them, yes, because in my own project, I have started working on some of them. The plans are already made, for example, music for the levels, assets, level layouts, they are all made, but I do not release them in a buggy state or very bad state. I always
So
try to release them in a very good state.
So you're not looking to do an early access release with this down the line.
I am actually looking. So the plan will go like this. There will be a demo release on Steam, because right now there is a Steam page where you can only wishlist the game
Right.
and join our Discord. But there will be a Steam release demo where you will have the reworked level for the Vault and Desert Prince, which are the first two levels. On the Vault, you will only have access the same way, only on the second part of it, but it will be reworked and it will look way better. Because if I let the first part of it, you will get a spoiler about the story, and that's not really good. And then I will complete all of the levels and release the game in a early access state. In early access, I intend to not keep the game more than, let's say, 6 months or 1 year. And in early access, I only want to work on achievements and the leaderboards and stuff like that. So the game,
Honestly, I kind of appreciate that over the way that some people do early access, which is throw out the first thing that will run when you start it.
yeah, no, that's a horrible way to do it. I won't do it. Early access for me, it's basically a way to say thank you to everyone that buys it in that state, but it will have all the campaign levels, maybe without the boss, the final boss, which is the leader of those robots, the invaders. Okay. I can tell you right now, his name is Oblivion. So he's the leader of all those robots that invade Earth. And yeah, in early access, I will have a way lower price, and I will just focus on fixing any bugs that I can find or players find, and release achievements, leaderboards for speedruns, and stuff like that. And maybe enable a save system, because for now, on my to-do list, there is only a checkpoint system. For example, you start a level and you find lives along the way, and maybe you have 3 lives on the level. And if you die once, you restart at the start of the level or maybe at the checkpoint, and that's it. No real save like you have in any other game. But I can do it at some point, though it's in early access with a real save. Like you press save game, you exit the game fully, and then you continue where you left from. And also another very important thing, this is like just like Serious Sam, a pick up and play game where your progress between levels does not matter. For example, you can start from any level, not knowing the story. It's your own problem, for example. But if you
So
just
you
bought
don't
the
even
game,
get to bring guns or magic between levels beyond a couple of basic things?
magic will be in level based on the fact if you have the pyramid in your left hand or not. For example, in the footage right here, you see you don't have the pyramid. So that pyramid means you will have spells or not.
Okay.
So
No,
for
I was just
example,
curious because one of the some boomer shooters let you keep your accumulated weapons and ammo, and some don't.
yeah, for example, you will keep your only weapons that you. So if you teleport at the end of a level using your pyramid, because that's how the story will go, you will not keep your weapons. That's my way of saying that I will reset the weapons. So you have a pyramid in your right hand that casts spells and lets you teleport at the end of a level. but not all at the end of each level you will teleport. If you teleport, you lose all your weapons, and so that I can give the player new weapons and maybe different ones. And secret weapons, for now, as I plan to make it, they will not uh, come with you between levels because they are pretty overpowered. Like you can find, I want to make it like you can find more than one secret weapon in a level, and I don't want the player to have like 12 weapons in the third level. That will not be so much fun because all of them regenerate except for the shadow gun for now.
And what does the shadow gun do?
You can see it in the second half in the second half of the first level. It basically shoots small AoE projectiles, and it does not regenerate energy. So if you find it, you need to use it in a smart way, or else you can waste it on small waves. They can be easily killed with your weakest weapon.
And I don't think we've touched upon this yet, but are you developing the game yourself, or are you working with a team?
I had a friend that was working with me so far, but he's on and off for now. He's undecided. Like for example, he worked on some of the weapons, but other assets were bought from different stores or from freelancers. So I'm basically paying other people for some custom work. Like for example,
And
the minigun is a custom-made weapon.
right. And like, do you two collaborate in person, or is it remote work?
Everything is remote work, especially because we started at the end of 2019. I mean, I started alone then, and then I found this other person. But yeah, everything was remote, 100% remote.
Mm-hmm. And I think a aspect that we should talk about that has not, but I don't know how important it is to the game, given the title, but the music. Like, is this game going to have a disco soundtrack?
Yes, it has a disco soundtrack in the first level, which is where your tomb, disco tomb, is basically. That's how your temple is called, the disco tomb.
Right,
Yeah,
and flipping the script on that, what are the other levels musical tracks going to be?
they aim to be like so in campaign levels. Most of the music will be like I would call it epic music, serious music, trailer music. That kind of like World of Warcraft has the epic music, if you could say
Right.
that. So that kind of music that puts you in, gives you a sense of magic, because I love that. Uh, and maybe some boss fights will have some rock music. The secret levels will have fun music, like some goofy music, like you see in cartoons or anything like that. And yes, and some fights in some levels will be synchronized on music. For example, you have some bass in that epic music, and based on that bass, the enemies will spawn. I already have that for like 2 levels. One of the levels you have a giant Aztec UFO that spawns, and the other is with more monster that spawn based on the music. So you just enter in a level, the music starts, the fight starts, and you have to learn how to fight based on that song, or else you will get overwhelmed.
Okay, I gotta admit, I was expecting that there'd be a touch of the rhythm shooter here.
Of a touch of what?
The rhythm shooter. Think like bullets per minute.
Yeah, rhythm shooters. Yeah, I've recently seen one on Steam. I think it was early access or something like that. It was on rock music.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's not basically a rhythm shooter because the music does not change based on what you do. Everything is scripted. So you have a song that starts, and for example, let's say you have an epic guitar. When that epic guitar starts, you have a monster spawning, and maybe you have some bass drops. Uh, you also, let's say, three consecutive bass drops. Also, three consecutive enemy spawns will appear on the screen. I hope that's clear.
I think it came through. Like,
Yeah.
um, and I think that is an important distinction because, yeah, the rhythm FPS games act like the other rhythm things. Like, anyway, so in regards to the music, are you creating it yourself? Do you have a composer?
No, I am just buying lots of music packs and choosing the ones that fit the levels and also are very similar to the World of Warcraft experience based on music. It needs to feel epic, and also some most of the levels will have changing music. For example, in the Grave Situation, you have three songs. They are all based on if you started questing. You see you have objectives in the left side of the screen. So in Grave Situation, if you started your object or your like third objective, you start fighting. So the music changes to a more alert type of fighting scene. And I intend to do that throughout the whole game to change the music based on what you are doing. For example, if there is a dramatic moment, like in the tunnel in Grave Situation, you have a small song where it gives you a sense of mystery because the tunnel has collapsed and you cannot turn back. You have to just go forward to that unknown crypt. No, I am not creating the music myself. I am just buying it, buying the rights as a non-exclusive license.
Okay, some devs do that, um, yeah, especially since if there's usually an area that proves to be the most tricky when it comes to general game dev, it's either writing or music.
Yeah, I do
Uh,
the writing myself, level design,
mm,
directing. So I do a lot of things. Like for example, my friend he only did 3D modeling and 3D model editing. That's it. I do everything else from marketing to level design to everything. And also, fun fact: the game started because of a song, which is in the first level, the disco song. But
right.
I still need to get the rights for that song because that song is actually from a secret, very small room from Serious Sam. That's how the whole game started. I told her I joined the game jam. I had to make a shooter, a level for a shooter, and I was like, what am I going to do? And I just had this crazy idea of with that song and naming it Disco Tomb, and that was it. I just made like a fun game with mummies dancing. You know.
Inspiration can hit in the most unlikely of places.
Yeah, it was like I think 4 a.m. or something like that, and I just had this idea, and I just did it, and it turned out very good. And yeah, but that song was composed by Damien from Croteam, the one that makes music for Serious Sam and Talos Principle.
Let me see here. So, are you developing this game for Windows only, or will there be Mac and Linux builds alongside Disco Tune?
As far as I am aware, from what I saw in Unity, it is very easy to make them for Linux and Mac. So yes, it will be available on Mac and Linux.
Okay.
And yeah, but more demanding on Mac, as far as I know. If you know, not all Macs have upgradable parts.
Yes, say the least.
Yeah, but it runs on pretty low specs. You know, the only demanding parts in this game are when you fight a huge turret that spawns a lot of projectiles. But anyway, the game will have quality levels. So, for example, on a Mac with low specs or even a laptop, you can tune down the quality to have it play better.
And have you come up with any sort of price points?
Uh, I would say for now, because the price is not final. For now, after the official release, the game will be, let's say, a bit over $10.
Mm-hmm.
So no more than 15, no less than $10.
Yeah, I could see
Uh,
this that being the proper price range for Disco Tomb here.
yeah, and in early access, it will be under $10 as a big thank you to anyone that supports the game during early access. For example, now uh, there are donations open on my Ko-fi page. It's basically like a Patreon where people just use their PayPal, and anyone that donates there, I think more than $6 or $7, will get a special role on my Discord and a CD key for when the game launches.
Hmm.
A game key for Steam.
Right. Did you ever consider sending this game over to Kickstarter?
I did consider on Kickstarter and maybe other places, but I think I had problems because I'm from Romania, and
Hmm.
they wouldn't let you do it, or it was a very, very big hassle. And yeah, it was too much of a pain. So that's why I did it with coffee. But maybe I could try it again. But as I'm saying, I just for now I want to make a good game and then make it profitable, or at least put a price on it. I just want for now to make myself noticed as a developer and gain the trust of the players, because this is my first game on Steam.
Hmm. And
So
speaking,
main objective is to make a fun game that people will like. Then maybe get some money out of it.
yes, and speaking of such things, has this game built up an audience yet?
Well, I could say that uh, I I have a Discord for the game and my social media pages. I also have
Mm-hmm.
entertainment or meme pages, as you may know there.
Right.
And but I started the Discord for the game today. As of today, it has like 15,000 members, but they are not all for the game.
No,
Some of them are. Yeah.
yeah, I'd imagine with a number that large, there's going to be a certain percentage that aren't real people.
Oh no, real people. They are for sure real people. But there are people interested in the game. Uh, they are not 15,000. There's a smaller percentage.
Right. Bot. And
What?
um, are you saying that the certain amount of people are bots? Like,
No. Some of the people are here for the game on my Discord,
okay,
and some of them are here from my meme page, which has over 750,000 followers.
right.
So
Eh,
my Facebook meme page, it's a thing that I've been running since 2016, and also I've been making some money with it. and also advertise. I also advertise my games, my meme games, and nowadays I advertise Discord to on it.
Yeah.
It's like having a YouTube channel, but I have a page on Facebook. You know.
50K Facebook memers. Right?
No, one. Let me type.
Oh, I mean that's from the chat.
Yeah, I don't know the. So there's 750,000
Yeah.
members. Yeah.
Well, and what's been the commentary from all of your memers? You know,
Well, the ones that join the Discord
mm,
are the ones that are mostly gamers or interested in chatting on Discord. Then a percentage of it is interested in Discord, and they gave me feedback, very good feedback. And some of them maybe find bugs, and I fix the bugs as soon as possible. We have channels for bugs, for questions, for any kind of discussion, uh, for memes as well. Why not? And the feedback about the game has been great so far. They are
okay.
nice people.
And circling back to the whole uh, development process as a commercial release, what would you consider a success there?
A success after release, I suppose.
I suppose, but since the game is going into early access, I'm sure there's going to be people who will purchase it there as well. Um,
Yes.
and
Uh,
so,
I,
like 5,000 copies, 10,000 copies.
I never thought about this, but I put it more like this. Let's say after the final release, the official release, not the early access one. Uh, a monetary success would be if I at least make what I put in. So I put a few $1,000. So if I get that back, it will be a success in terms of money.
Okay.
But for example, if people only buy it in early access when it will be way lower, maybe it will not be a monetary success, but I will still be happy because I build a fan base. And maybe I will adjust the price, let's say in 1 year, if nobody likes it or something like that, or if maybe people only buy it on sale. The main goal is to get players, not to get rich from this first game. Because from my point of view, trying to get rich from your first game is stupid.
Well, you've mentioned that you've made other games here.
Yes, but not on Steam, and they were not monetized. I just made them free on Android, and I thought to myself, if people like them in their free version, I will add more content to them, and put some ads and maybe microtransactions on mobile, you know,
Mm-hmm.
and that's it. But I think the most downloads I had on mobile, 2 or 3 thousand downloads, and then the thing is they were meme games, and memes expire. That's the big problem. And
Like,
then it's,
yeah, in most cases, yes. Though there are some that survive. Like,
yes, but the like, for example, this one meme game I had was Survival of the Dankest, and it had some memes that surely expired. You can check it out; it's free.
I
But
mean, just that
yeah,
particular verbiage is a bit out of style.
yeah,
Like,
some things expire in the meme world. That's the problem. But with this one, for example, it's a fun game. It's not based on memes, and
mm,
it's on Steam. So it's a very different approach for what I've been doing in the past, where I tried to make mobile games, and it's very harsh to get noticed in the mobile genre because there are so many, and everything must be catchy and fun to play on the toilet or on your way to work in the train.
Yeah, it depends on the game. Like, honestly, an FPS, especially one like this, on a phone is a tall order, like to say the least. As you know, not to put too fine a point on it, but you're dealing with inferior control setups.
Yeah, it will be. This one will not go on mobile phones. I can tell you that. For now, for example, it has controller support, partial
Mm-hmm.
controller support, which means you can only use your controller in the game, not in the menu.
Right. And are you considering releasing this game on the consoles?
Yes, I am highly considering that, but I cannot tell you a yes or no until I have the official release, or at least the early Steam release.
Hmm.
It will have controller support, that's for sure, and uh, Xbox seems the best option, and then maybe PlayStation as consoles.
Bit unusual there, as the lion's share of indie devs seem to aim towards the Nintendo Switch.
I have no experience with that platform, but yeah, why not? I mean, if the game could run on a Switch, I've never touched one, so I cannot tell. But if it can run on a Switch, sure, why not? For example, you have real-time shadows in this game, and maybe you know or not, but this type of shadows need a lot of processing power.
Mhm.
So
Right.
on a mobile, for example, it would kill them. It would kill a mobile with these types of shadows.
I'll take your word for it. All right. All
Yeah,
right.
usually the shadows in some old games or Switch games or maybe mobile games are baked, which means that, for example, you have an enemy and maybe its shadow it's just a blob. It's like in Warcraft 3. It's not
Mhm.
a shadow that resembles the 3D model as well. A blob is just like a fake shadow that just follows you around.
Mm.
But real-time shadows are way more demanding, but they look better even in boomer shooters. Yeah, I appreciate real-time shadows more.
Mhm. Let me see. Well, I think I've run through my gamut of questions, so I'll see if my colleagues here have anything further to add to the conversation.
I'm good and have to get going for work momentarily, so.
Yeah, I think
Right.
I'm good
I'm
too.
wrapping this up because we are reaching our limits in terms of time.
Mhm.
Um, anyway, Petty.
I think I'm good.
All right. All right. So, yeah, Dankman, I want to thank you for taking time out of your schedule and being with us here today to talk about Disco Tomb. It was certainly an illuminating conversation. Certainly like what I see so far, and I look forward to seeing how this game progresses. Right.
Thank you. It was nice being here with you. Also, quick question: could I give people the link to the free alpha version of the game in your chat?
Sure.
Sure, because why not? It's basically all you see in this footage. You can play for free right now. Just make sure to download it. I will mention this right now. The browser version, it's a bit, it's there just for the lazy people that don't want to download it but still want to give it a try. Most of the people will download it after trying it.
Yeah. Anyway, um, so the game is Disco Tomb. Be sure to wish list it on Steam today and keep abreast of the development as it works its way to a demo release and early access. And that'll about do it for this installment of Fragments of Silicon. Be sure to join us on Saturday for our special presentation of the Indie Racing Game Festival 2022. Something a bit different from our usual milieu, but I'm looking forward to it because it is something new and different. And as always, if you enjoyed this interview, be sure to hit the subscribe button, the notification bell, and do all the things you need to do to keep up to date with our broadcasts. And until next time, I shall wish you good gaming.